Live from KSAT 12, the 6 o'clock news starts right now.
A man charged in 2 separate capital murders in 2016 is finally having his day in court. Jade Guevara is on trial for a double murder.
Our Erica Hernandez sat in during testimony today as the wife of one of the victims took the stand.
More than 6 years ago, Jade Guevara, along with Carlos Hernandez, were arrested. Police say the two were alleged to have killed 3 people in 2 separate incidents. The first murder took place in August 2016, and then a double murder in November 2016. Both men were arrested and charged with 2 counts of capital murder. Guevara is now on trial for the double murder of Charles Crone and Roger Campos. The trial taking place in the 144th District Court. Judge Michael Mary doesn't allow media cameras in his courtroom, but on the stand today was Charles Crone's wife, Sonia Perez. Perez says the night her husband was murdered, she was there, and that Guevara and Hernandez showed up to talk to her husband and Roger Campos about a car. She testified about seeing her husband on the ground bleeding and Guevara coming at her with a gun. She says, quote, "He came around the bed and said, 'Give me what you have.' I told him I have nothing to give you. He then pulled the gun back when Carlos said, 'Let's go.'" Both Campos and Crone died that night from gunshot wounds. Carlos Hernandez has since taken a plea deal in this case and is awaiting sentencing. Now, this is a non-death penalty capital murder case. So what that means, if Guevara is found guilty, the death penalty is not an option. He would automatically be sentenced to life in prison without the eligibility of parole. At the Kitchener Reeves Justice Center, Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
A staple in a West Side neighborhood brought to the ground today by a dump truck. That truck crashed into a pedestrian bridge along Castroville Road near San Joaquin Avenue. RJ Marquez joining us there live this evening. RJ, this is something a lot of people in this neighborhood use. So how did this happen today?
Yeah, that's right, Myra. In fact, one resident here said that this was actually an icon, so definitely a part of the neighborhood. And so want to quickly show you real quick what the situation is right now. You can take a look here, and crews have, for the most part, cleared this area, and traffic is now being allowed to come through this stretch of Castroville Road. And this all started around 8:30 this morning when San Antonio police say that crews were working a little bit down the road here in Castroville Road. A city contractor drove away in that dump truck, but forgot to drop the truck's bed. Now, the bed hit the concrete bridge, and that caused it to collapse right in the middle of the street. The driver was not injured, and no one, fortunately, was on the bridge at the time. So this bridge was built all the way back in the 70s. And again, people that we spoke to here in the neighborhood said that it is often used for people going to school and work in the area. A child care center is right next to the bridge, and some of the debris damaged the center's fence, but no children were in the playground at the time.
Thankfully, no one's there, but again, it kind of just brings to light the reality that, yeah, this is a very real situation for us.
But it got constructed, and it served a purpose, and this morning when we found out they knocked it down, to me, it's an incredible thing.
All right, and police are now saying that that driver here, the dump truck driver, would be cited with 2 things: overheight and striking an overpass or a bridge. But again, this crash occurring earlier this morning around 8:30, but crews have cleared out this stretch of Castroville Road. Everything, for the most part, is back to normal in this area. Reporting live from the west side, RJ Marquez, KSAT 12 News.
We'll continue to see if that bridge will be rebuilt. Thank you, RJ. He's accused of pretending to be a customer at a Northside meat market, only to hold the cashier up at gunpoint. And now San Antonio police need your help in finding him. The armed robbery happened just before 7 p.m. January 31st at La Michoacana on Northwest Military Highway. Police say he waited at the front of that store until the cashier opened the register. That's when he allegedly rushed that cashier, pointed a gun at her, and took an unknown amount of money from the register before taking off. Do you know him? Anyone with information asked to call Crime Stoppers at 210-224-STOP. You can remain anonymous.
A man shot overnight by a stranger, only to have another stranger swoop in and possibly save his life. Our Katrina Weber tells us what led up to these chance encounters.
All signs in this neighborhood point to trouble. San Antonio police officers found evidence near the corner of Somerset Road and Cree Street, showing them there had been a shooting. This is the same place where the victim, a 34-year-old man, told them it happened. He says he was riding a bicycle around midnight when someone in a car shot him twice in his leg. But they found him at a different location, a hospital. Police say he had help getting there from someone he didn't know. Based on what police told us, it sounds like the victim saw the worst and best of strangers right here within a few minutes. They say after he was shot, a Good Samaritan helped him get to a hospital. Officers stayed behind, trying to find something to lead them to the shooter. They say that person took off in a black sedan. The last word from police on the man who was shot was that he was still in the hospital getting treated for his wounds. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Look outside with live cam this evening. Another warm one out there. Feels nice when the freezing temperatures are not too far from memory. Days like today are beautiful out there.
Days like today, we can say, take that freezing temperatures. Look where we are now. I mean, you look across the state, very spring-like. These are the high temperatures today. Dallas made it up to 90. Del Rio, 93 degrees for the high. Laredo, a high temperature of 92. Here in San Antonio, officially our high of 85, well above the average of 69. But check out the record, 100 set back in 1996. I bet many of you remember that day, late February, 100 degrees. We're far from that, but tomorrow's going to be even warmer than today. And this evening, warm and a little sticky outside. You'll notice that humidity rising with that breezy south-southeasterly wind at 10 to 20 with some higher gusts. 70 at 10 o'clock. By midnight, we're down to 65 degrees. And tomorrow morning, we start our day in the low to mid 60s. Pretty straightforward tomorrow morning, a bit of fog, but there will be some noticeable changes by late morning on into the afternoon. We'll talk about that and even some dampness in the forecast coming up.
Okay, we'll see you in a bit, Adam.
Thank you, Adam. If you live near Joint Base San Antonio Camp Bullis, you might start to see or smell smoke in the air. If so, it may be a part of a controlled burn scheduled for today until Sunday, February 26th. Fire emergency services working with local fire departments to make sure the burn is safe. The goal is to reduce dead vegetation and brush that will lower the chances for a real wildfire. JBSA Camp Bullis spans 27,000 acres in North Bexar County near I-10 and Loop 1604.
Now to a bus tour back in time by the San Antonio African American Community Archive and Museum. This tour, happening tomorrow, will show some of the places that were listed in the Green Book back then.
Yeah, back then traveling could be treacherous for African Americans during Jim Crow. Our Jesse DeGuiato gives us a preview of the stops expected along the way.
Coming out the side door of the Carver Public Library.
Let's see, I think the Ritz must have been from here to there.
Branch manager D.L. Grant says he would see what was left of the old Ritz Motel, where it said Louis Armstrong once stayed, became a library parking lot. What appear to be condos in the middle of the block is where the Mason Hotel once stood.
It's really startling because this once was like a thriving black business area.
Owned by her aunt Rachel Mason, the hotel is somewhat visible in the background. Others, like the Zumbro Hotel in what is now St. Paul Square and the Hicks Beauty School, were among the hotels, restaurants, and shops listed in the Green Book, used as a travel guide in a segregated America from the 1930s up until civil rights became the law of the land.
Safe places where you could go and you could count on finding accommodations you needed.
Black travelers knew not to leave home without it. Carry your Green Book with you, it says. You may need it. And I certainly understand that. I understand that only too well today.
She says as a child, she just knew her aunt's hotel was not only a place for community gatherings, but also welcomed visitors.
The baseball players, the musicians, and the train travelers
who would rely on the Green Book in order to travel with dignity. Learn more about the places in San Antonio listed in the Green Book during the SACAM bus tour Wednesday afternoon. We have the link on our website. Jesse DeGuiato, KSAT 12 News.
Well, you expect to find good deals at a thrift store, but not historical artifacts. That's what one North Texas man thought he found. George Rebelez stumbled upon a Bachman Turner Overdrive CD at the Souls Harbor thrift store. But inside that CD case, he found an original black and white Polaroid of the JFK motorcade. Handwritten date on the back, November 22nd, 1963, the day President Kennedy was assassinated. But a North Texas JFK historian says the photo is not something we haven't seen before.
Someone thinks this is of high monetary value. Prepare yourself to be underwhelmed or disappointed.
Still a cool find, though.
Yeah.
The historian says the photo appears to be a shot of the motorcade leaving the Dallas Love Field Airport nearly an hour before JFK was assassinated. As for the man who found the picture, he'd still like to know who took it and how it ended up in a CD case in a small town thrift store.
BTO and JFK. The city of San Antonio has $1 million to give out to local schools in the form of a grant. The application to apply, it's open right now. That money is part of the Resiliency, Energy Efficiency, and Sustainability Fund. The grant will be used to fund a climate action and sustainability project at schools. It includes public, charter, and private schools. Schools selected can be awarded up to $10,000. Applications due by March 15th. For a link to apply, we've got it on our website at KSAT.com.
President Joe Biden sharing his thoughts on the war in Ukraine, why the president is saying the U.S. was key in stopping Russia's takeover.
For some, the COVID-19 pandemic changed the way they live, which is having an impact on our health. What doctors are seeing more diagnosis of after being inside for 2 years.
Let's take a look at traffic out there right now. The TransGuide camera here, I-35 north and Loop 410. You can see traffic very slow going in the northbound lanes, which is not unusual for the 6 o'clock commute. No real big issues out there other than I-35 at 6.
Coming up tonight on the Night Beat, something a little different. KSAT is launching a new series. It's called Fighting Fentanyl.
The synthetic opioid has led to a surge in overdoses everywhere, including right here in Texas. Our Stephania Jimenez joins us live in the newsroom now. And Steph, you have a story that you hope will really give people a chance to start a conversation with their kids.
Well, that's right, because chances are you've heard about fentanyl and how dangerous it is. The Centers for Disease Control looked at the data and said that in 2020, more than 90,000 Americans died from an overdose, and 75% of those deaths are because of an opioid. Now, you hear those numbers and they're jarring, but the numbers are a lot more personal to that father. His daughter, who was a freshman at UTSA and dreamed of being a doctor, passed away last year from fentanyl toxicity. She didn't suffer from addiction, and her father thinks it was an accident.
First thought that went through my head was fentanyl, was because it's like, that's the only thing that could have taken my daughter down.
And Mark Falsing came to KSAT with that story because he wants parents to do whatever they can to protect their kids. We'll have more on this tonight on the Night Beat.
We'll see you then. Thank you, Stephanie. Well, if you have your blood tested recently, maybe you were told you have a vitamin D deficiency. Well, since the pandemic, that result has become an invisible epidemic, according to the National Institutes of Health. Ursula Perry explains why and how spending more time in the sun, not the only solution.
It's no secret we spend more time with our screens indoors than previous generations, and that's a problem because vitamin D is critical to balancing many areas of health, from pediatric broken bones to cluster headaches. The so-called sunshine vitamin is powerful, especially when it comes to fighting viruses.
The main effect that we're talking about with vitamin D really has to do with the immune system itself and just fighting off the virus rather than counteracting some of these things such as blood clotting and reversing low oxygen levels.
We know that in our patients' specimens that were removed and put into tissue culture, vitamin D shuts down the stromal cells.
A person can get vitamin D in 3 ways: through the skin, from their diet, and from medically prescribed supplements. The National Institutes of Health recommend 400 international units of vitamin D for newborns up to 12 months, 600 for children and adults up to 70 years old, as well as breastfeeding women, and 800 international units for adults 71 and up. For people who are very close to the normal vitamin D level, which is 30, experts recommend adding more vitamin D to your diet.
For example, mushrooms, salmon, halibut, herring, Milk is fortified with vitamin D, eggs, that sort of thing.
Of course, spending more time outdoors can increase your vitamin D levels, but if you wear sunscreen, that can interfere with your skin's ability to produce it. Doctors, chances are, will recommend a supplement, and depending on your condition, they'll determine how long you need to take it, how often you need to take it, and how much you need to take. Ursula Perry, KSAT 12 News.
Plenty of sunshine out there today.
Yeah.
Another incredibly warm February day.
And when we look at the forecast, we're going to be pushing 90 tomorrow.
Crazy.
We're going to be close to 90.
Wow.
And I do think we'll be hitting 90 in parts of our area. I'm going to get a little more specific in a moment, but this is the general trend. Tomorrow, even warmer than today. 88 degrees, the high temperatures where we think we'll be officially in town. By Thursday, we drop back closer to 80, and Friday, we're closer to 70. One reason for that is a lack of vitamin D because of significant cloud cover Friday and even lingering into the upcoming weekend. I want to talk a little bit more about our overall pattern and any hope for rain. There is a disturbance just off to our west, and that's producing some showers in the desert southwest, Arizona, New Mexico, and even far west Texas, a little closer to El Paso. Same little dip in the upper level flow we were talking about yesterday, and this is quickly going to push off to the northeast, and the energy is going to pass to the north of us, so I don't think we'll tap into any of its moisture really. Yes, we'll have some fog and maybe a sprinkle early tomorrow morning, but notice the bulk of the rain here in our futurecast stays well to the north of us, especially Austin, Waco, and points northward up I-35 into Dallas. And then behind it, we'll have a decent amount of sunshine most of the day tomorrow. It's actually a very active pattern across the U.S., and this is just a generalized look at the rain and snow accumulation through Friday afternoon, actually Friday evening. And look at how the snow goes way down into parts of Arizona and New Mexico, of course higher elevations, but even down into Southern California, seeing some unique cool weather for this time of year. Widespread snowstorm to the north and even western U.S. Some rain on the warm side of it. Unfortunately for us, we're not going to tap into much of it. Actually, they'll be measuring the snow with a yardstick up north. Talking to my brother in Minneapolis, he can hardly keep his mind because he's just so excited for it. Anyway, we're going to have some drizzle around here Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but no real rain. That's the frustration. We will have some dampness, but no real rain to show for it. I'm talking maybe a 1/10 to 1/1500th of an inch spread out gradually through a 3-day period. I think that's the best that we can do. So we will have some nuisance moisture, nuisance dampness. Will cause a wet ground in the mornings, but not really add up and not really be beneficial. No real standing puddles, just that dampness and morning drizzle that we often deal with. Let's talk temperatures. 84 right now and a dew point temperature of 57. That dew point is going to be a little bit higher later on tonight. Already seeing the higher dew points. Converse, Floresville, dew points in the mid 60s. That southeasterly breeze is going to be bumping up the dew point after sunset. And midnight 4 a.m. dew points in the mid 60s. This is important because that dry West Texas air, it's on the way. It's going to hit us around 9 a.m. tomorrow. Look at 8 a.m. Already much drier in the hill country. Dry line moves through around 9 a.m. in San Antonio. For the late morning and early afternoon, we're looking at dew points taking a big drop down into the 20s. So much drier air for most of the day tomorrow. Not in the morning for the commute, but by lunchtime and thereafter. Very dry air and windy as well. Wind gusts between 30 and 35 miles per hour, especially between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. Kind of unique, but that's the situation tomorrow. This brief little window of high wind gusts, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Otherwise, you won't notice it as much. So by 4 o'clock, less wind, 88 the high temperature in town, 95 the high in Catula. We'll be in the lower 90s in Del Rio, but around town, Lavernia 89, 85 Leon Springs and New Braunfels 88. That's the warmest we'll be, though. As I mentioned earlier, closer to 70 by Friday, and that's the coolest afternoon we'll have, and that's just because of extra clouds.
A toasty February week. Thank you, Adam.
All right, the Cowboys have some decisions to make, and it's way more than whether they're going to re-sign Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah, the franchise tag is now open for NFL teams. So the Dallas Cowboys have a choice, and they have a handful of guys, really, but it seems more than likely they can either franchise tag Tony Pollard or Dalton Schultz. We'll break it down. And in Big League Baseball, Alex Bregman has reported for spring training. Coming up.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
The franchise tag window opened up for NFL teams today, and it runs through March the 7th. This gives the Dallas Cowboys a 2-week window to tag either running back Tony Pollard or tight end Dalton Schultz again. If they tag Schultz for a second year in a row, then the value is 120% of the prior season, which will cost the boys about $13.1 million. And that's a lot. He's made it clear he wants a long-term deal, and with younger tight ends on the squad, it seems unlikely they will tag Dalton again. So Tony Pollard is most likely the recipient of the franchise tag. He's young, explosive, and is an important piece to bring back. The tag value for running backs this season is $10.091 million, which is a lot to give to Pollard after he suffered a broken fibula in the playoff loss to the 49ers. But his 2023 season does not appear to be in jeopardy. After learning that Red McCombs passed away Sunday at the age of 95, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver released a statement yesterday saying in part, quote, Red McCombs brought the Spurs to San Antonio and was a driving force in creating the modern NBA, end quote. If not for Red taking a risk, the Spurs wouldn't be celebrating their 50th NBA season in San Antonio. The Spurs tipped off their current season on October 19th, Red's 95th birthday. Before that game, Pop was asked if Red was a hands-on owner.
He was passionate about everything that he did, and he had high standards. He demanded a lot, but he was fair, had a great sense of humor. Even to this day, you can still see the little sly smirk on his face here and there because he loved a good joke. He loved people. And he let you know that he was in charge. There's no doubt about that.
David Robinson tweeted, R.I.P. Red McCombs. He was a legendary figure in San Antonio and had a huge impact in my life. We will miss you. Houston Astros third baseman Alex Bregman reported to spring training in West Palm Beach, Florida yesterday. He's 28 years old and entering his 8th big league season, all with the Astros. Houston is trying to repeat as World Series champs for the first time since the Yankees won 3 straight World Series titles from 1998 to 2000. Bregman is looking forward to the challenge and knows there's a lot of work to be done.
We're going to try and accomplish something that hasn't been done in a long time, but with that being said, the season doesn't start in the postseason. There's a lot of work that has to go into getting back to where we want to go. But overall, in general, just spring training is an exciting time.
Astros GM Dana Brown wants Jose Altuve and Bregman to finish their careers with the Astros, and both are signed through the 2024 season. Congratulations to Texas Longhorns softball player Leanne Good, who set a program record 9-game hitting streak to begin a freshman season. She broke the mark with a leadoff double in the 3rd inning Saturday. The O'Connor High School great has started all 10 games for the Horns this season and was leading the team in batting average entering Sunday's game with Incarnate Word. Against the Cardinals, she went 2 for 3 in the Longhorns' 8-0 win, extending her freshman record hitting streak to start a season of 10 straight games while pushing her average to .576. Which leads the Longhorns.
She's more than good.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we always see it.
I know.
See it every time.
Yep, we sure do. Miles away.
Our KSAT Q&A is up next.
We have seen similar incidents in our own community, street racing incidents, certainly over the weekend. What happened in downtown Austin, where street racers basically took over a major intersections and then didn't disperse when police showed up. It is a concern, obviously, in the city of Austin. Is it also a concern in the city of San Antonio? Mayor Ron Nirenberg joins us now live. Mr. Mayor, thank you. Your reaction when you saw that video and what has happened since? Have you had a conversation with the police chief about what happened in Austin?
Yes, I have had a conversation with the chief specifically about the scenes that played out on those social media videos over the weekend in Austin. It's a very disturbing scene. you see a crowd overtake a police cruiser and really just in sort of a lawless scene out of a movie almost. So we talked about it, and obviously street racing is a concern in any community, and we've had our challenges with street racing here in San Antonio. A lot of the work in fighting back against these illegal street racing rings happens before the events actually take place. A lot of intelligence work, information gathering, making sure that before the street racers show up, there's already police and security in the area and able to disperse a crowd really before it gets going. In the event that there is a crowd of some size that's gathered, you want to make sure that there is a proper response contingent. Everything from, what you saw in terms of the normal police patrols, but also specialized units, in some cases SWAT. In the cases of street racing rings being broken up in San Antonio, there are lots of arrests made, weapons seized, and so we don't take this lightly. It is a danger to the public. It's a danger to the police officers themselves. So we want to make sure that they have proper support when they go into a scene like that. And that begins really before it even starts to assemble.
We haven't seen something quite to that degree like what played out in Austin, but just a couple of weeks ago, there was a takeover of I-10 that shut down traffic in both directions. We've seen these takeovers where people are doing dangerous stunts in parking lots and things like that. I know in covering this over the last year or so, the City Council looked at some potential policy changes that could help crack down on this, because a lot of it's spread through social media and organized that way. Do you think there is anything from a policy perspective that the council can do to help address this?
I asked the chief that the other night in terms of, are there any gaps? Are there any resources or policies that would better aid our defense of situations like that and prevention of these kinds of scenes? Also, are there any things that is there anything that we're doing to get in the way of proper police response and prevention of scenes like this? And he said they have the tools necessary. It's really about, though, intelligence and making sure intelligence and information gathering, making sure that we have, the proper information available so that before these crowds assemble, there are police officers in the vicinity on site to make sure that they can stop it before it starts. In the event, though, that there are these assemblies, gangs assembled that are doing these street racing scenes, taking over roadways, we want to make sure that we send the proper response contingent, not just a couple of cruisers, but enough strength of force to make sure that we can quell a crowd like that and prevent violence from happening, make the proper arrests, and apprehend the actors as well as any weapons that they might have on them.
Mr. Mayor, was that also part of your conversation with the police chief? Because that's what's perhaps the most alarming to me, is just the lack of respect for authority and then basically attacking police that were on the scene. The fact that when you show up to these things, you can't show up with just one cruiser and a bus, which is what, obviously we haven't seen the entire video, but that's what it looked like happened in Austin.
Yeah. Right. And so it's hard to draw any conclusions specifically off of just one social media clip or a couple of social media clips. We don't know really what happened before that and what happened after that. And I'd ask that you talk to the chief directly about that, should we get that information. But, again, the kind of lawlessness that plays out in these scenes is disturbing. We want to make sure that we're providing our police department the proper resources to police this kind of activity. And to prevent a danger from the public, and thereby also ensuring that the community knows that it's being protected, that the police department has the available resources necessary to quell these kinds of scenes before they begin.
Mayor, before we let you go, I want to switch gears a little bit. You did something over the weekend that a lot of people in San Antonio wish they got to do. You met The Rock at the Brahmas game. So a huge turnout for the inaugural game of that team, of this league here in San Antonio. Your impressions of the night?
Well, I told Coach Traylor, who was there at halftime, that there was only one person in the entire city that was more popular at the moment than Coach Traylor, and that was The Rock. And I think that's actually true. It was great. San Antonio shows up, they show out. We're a football city, we're a sports city. We get behind our home team. The XFL Brahmas here in San Antonio are they're a new phenomenon, and people really didn't know what to make of the XFL. They have some really exciting rule changes, which unfortunately put us on the short end of the stick the other day. But, it is our home team, and it is a franchise that we can get behind. And San Antonio loves football. So it was great to see us knock the socks off of the other cities in terms of home field attendance. I think that, the XFL and the sports world knows that San Antonio is the marquee city. We're only going to continue to grow in that profile. And so for the announcement to happen by Dwayne Johnson and Danny Garcia, who are the owners of this league, that we're going to host the championship game, it's gratifying to see them recognize that and for us to celebrate San Antonio on a national stage.
Absolutely. And I was watching on an airplane on the way back to town, and I loved hearing the announcers on ABC, on national television, basically talking about how great the crowd was in San Antonio. Yeah. So, Mr. Mayor, always appreciate your time.
You too. Stay safe, y'all. Thanks.
We'll be right back.